let's first start kind of exploring how Clarity can help you understand not only your website traffic, but also your user engagement. So moving on to the traffic analytics portion, if you ever wondered kind of what was bounce rate or the average number of pages per session, maybe you just wondered how many sessions overall, or maybe even your site performance, traffic analytics will provide this information in the form of just numbers. And while this is great, there is kind of a problem here, which is that these numbers can only get you so far, right? They just provide a general sense of maybe the average experience across all your users. There is no additional information or context or really answers as to why the numbers are what they are. So if anything, you may even be left with some more questions than answers, right? Like, why has my bounce rate gone up, for example? It's hard to really tell. And so this is where an understanding of the underlying user behaviors is super, super helpful. So moving on to the behavioral analytics side within Clarity specifically, there are a few key ways in which we present this information to you. Provide session replays, heat maps, and then leverage Copilot to pull out some insights on top of this. And with these features, you can start to understand some key points such as, how far down the page are users scrolling? Are there any confusing navigation or confusing flows within, my web experience? So there's a saying that a picture speaks 1,000 words. And from Clarity, we say that, a heat map can provide 1,000 insights. And so kind of leveraging all this behavioral information, you can then start to connect the dots between the traffic analytics and then the underlying user behaviors. And so again, we can dive deeper a bit into the tools that Clarity provides. The first being the session recordings. And so we think that the session recordings is kind of the perfect example for a use case for Clarity, right? Recordings can show you where users are scrolling, where are they tapping, what pages have they visited. And so this really shows you kind of where the pain points are from a specific user. Click heat maps, scroll heat maps really zoom out. And this is where I personally start all my heat map analysis or behavioral analysis in general. So on the left here, this is an example from our Clarity homepage. And I was just wondering what parts of my page get the most clicks across all users. And I was able to quickly see, hey, our key call to actions, our signups, our get started buttons are in red, which signifies a lot of clicks. And then we also use the scroll heat maps on the right when redesigning our landing page. So previously we had our key call to action kind of lower down on the page that was in kind of this yellow part. And when looking at the scroll heat map, we realized that only a small percentage of users were actually seeing this get started call to action. And so that was a signal for us to move it up higher on the page in that red area. And that just easily increased the amount of people that saw that part of the page. A new heat map that is coming out very soon is attention heat maps. And so this is based on time spent on any part of the page. So say you have a blog and there's like a core insight or a core part of the blog itself that is maybe halfway down the page. And you want to know, are people seeing this? Are they spending time? Are they reading it? You can then leverage attention maps to really see the breakdown of user attention time spent across the entire web page itself. And then we also have something called behavioral metrics in Clarity. And this is a good way of almost blending the qualitative and the quantitative. And so what does that mean? We have a few metrics. We call them rage clicks, dead clicks, excessive scrolling, and then quickbacks. So rage clicks are a trackable metric that's is fired every time a user clicks, like in quick succession. I'm sure we've all been there, right? Like maybe something's not loading, or you expect a link to be a link when it's not, and then you just keep hitting that button and nothing happens. So that's a rage click. A dead click occurs when a user clicks, but then there's no real change in the page. Like there's no refresh or there's no kind of UI change. Again, that is a signal that there was a user expectation that wasn't met. Excessive scrolling is just when a user scrolls more than normal, and then quick back is when a user goes to a new page and then quickly returns. So again, these are metrics that are very trackable but then link to an underlying user behavior.